Okay, hello everyone and welcome to my 80% tutorial of Wizard of Oz on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So, the first things first that I'm going to discuss is how to practice this game. So we currently have a practice ROM. If you would like it, you can certainly join our Discord, which can be found on the speedrun.com page for this game under guides or forums. We have a link to the Discord. You can join us and we can get you access to that ROM there to be able to practice this game. Our practice ROM allows you to enter and exit any stage that you'd like at any time. It starts out, all the levels are completed, and it gives you like infinite shoe charges and infinite ammo. So it is very nice that we have that. So the next thing I'm going to mention is how I personally practice. I personally practice using the Nakitech Game Saver because I do have some differences in latency between playing on emulator and playing on console. I know when I play on console, I have like 2 or 3 frames of latency, so that's why I do most of my practice on the Game Saver. So now we're going to talk about some very simple fundamental things. First off is jumping. Hooray. So there are basically 2 different types of jumps that we do in this run. We can jump and press right or left, or we'll call it forward. You can do that, or you can press the jump button and then a direction. And Dorothy has a little bit of a different arc to her jump when you do that. I mean, of course, you can also like turn in midair and everything, or like you can do a quick little left press to kind of make yourself do a nosedive. We don't do that too much, but the big thing you need to know is when we do this jump where we press the button first and then a direction, we're going to call that a buffer jump, compared to the other jump, which is just normal forward jumping. This right here is an ammo block. When we get an ammo block, we get 1, 2, 3 shots off of it. Every time you get an ammo block, you'll get 3. And then with these shoe charges, they work a bit differently. So shoe charges allow you to fly. I'm just going to go ahead and play through the level real quick, just this beginning, so I can get to the shoe charge to show you what on earth I'm talking about. So right here, there's a shoe charge. When you get the shoe charge, it lets you fly when you press the A button. Hooray. This is the most like pivotal part of the routing of this game, because it's going to allow you to skip a whole bunch of things. So the first time you grab a shoe charge, you get 5 charges. If you have more than 1 shoe charge, so let's say I had 1 shoe charge remaining and I grabbed another shoe charge, you would think, oh cool, you go from 1 to 6, right? Wrong. If you have more than 1 shoe charge, then if you have 1 or more shoe charges, then you get 3 the next time you collect a shoe charge. So in other words, if you have 1 shoe charge, you always want to use it so that the next time you grab one, you go up to 5 instead of 4. But if you just follow the route, that won't be any problem for you all. But I am going to focus this route on, or this tutorial on telling you how to make sudden route changes in case anything goes wrong. So I just figured I would cover that. So, the last little beginning fundamental thing I want to mention is there's another way that we can buffer inputs by, if you start a level and you hold buttons like this right here, you'll see Dorothy jumped immediately on the first frame. And that is a very useful tool on some stages later in the game. So when you start out, you buffer a jump, you walk a little bit, and then we just mash, and then we react as we normally would, getting to the bone. The solution to this little mini game right here, you are not in Kansas anymore. Very easy. When you're moving your Toto, you can actually buffer the movements by just pressing the direction just a little bit before he moves. And that will help you be able to go as fast as possible. Okay, we're back. I'm so sorry about that. We were having some technical difficulties. in Wizard of Oz land. So let me just show off this section now. So this is one of the most difficult tricks in the entire game right here. So this is lemon skip. So that is bad lemon skip. If you still make the jump, you can continue your run and everything, but we want to skip getting hit on the ground. Anytime you get hit on the ground, that's 7 frames lost in a 30 frames per second game. So the way we do this is we try to make it as fast as possible onto this mushroom here. I actually jumped at quite an excellent frame there. I really like that. So we jump there, we do a buffer jump, and then a little bit after we land on the platform, you want to jump just like that. It's not a very easy trick at all. However, I would always just say, just keep on going. If you make the jump at all, it's okay if you get hit on the ground. So once again, that's walk just a tiny bit, land on the left side of the mushroom, buffer jump, walk, and jump. You cannot jump as soon as you land on the platform. The further left you land on the mushroom, the easier the second jump is going to be, because you can just very naturally time the jump if you're further to the left. If you're too far to the right, watch what happens. Well, I still made it because I got very lucky. Yeah, you have a lot less time. So if you're far to the right, you can make it so that you can always at least make the jump from the lemon hitting you, and then you jump up. But if you want to go optimal, you're going to try to jump early so that you can time that. Fortunately, I missed it there. Okay. When we get in here, I'm going to go ahead and make a save state here. We have some visual cues for the doors. So when you see the doorknob here and you're in the center of it, that helps you know that you can enter. If you're entering from the other side of the door, you're just going, when Dorothy is right about here, just a little bit past the side of the door. Man, okay. I'm gonna just have to, let's see. Okay. Sorry, I was just waiting, making sure the stream was okay. So, there we go. Center of the doorknob. A little past the right side. And then here, we're going to jump through the chair so that we don't take damage on the ground. Jump through the chair. And you want to have either 6 or 7 health here, preferably. Okay. So now we get our first shoe charge. That'll give us 5. And then you kind of just go intuitively for the rest of the level. Now, if you are in this exact situation, you're going to want to go up here and do that. That is the line if you have bad luck like I did. If you had fantastic luck, you can do a variant like that without the ammo shot. That's also another backup if things really go south, because you can have two Froggos spawn back to back here at the end, which is really annoying. Thankfully, I didn't have it there. But it's just a matter of, you know, knowing the couple of different lines that you can do. Another thing that we can most certainly do is that right there. That is the, like, only way of very consistently going through the end of the level without taking any damage. This right here is optimal, though. Assuming that you don't have to use the ammo. Basically, anytime you use extra ammo in this run, though, it is lost time. So you do not want to waste ammo. Okay, next level. Gamboge Gorge. So, beginning of the level is pretty simple. You're simply just gonna follow what I do. It should be pretty easy to follow along. Wiggle, jump. Wiggle, and jump. By wiggle, I just mean pressing left and right in quick succession. Okay. So, here, the way I think about it is I want Dorothy to land perpendicular with this left side of the line right by the spike. It's like not quite there. Right about, I'll show you. I consider like that to be like perpendicular. So this would work. There you go. So yeah, you just want to be perpendicular when you land. And then for that ammo shot, what you're gonna do is you're going to go just a bit after Dorothy is above the ground. So right about there. That's like the perfect frame. Well, if I didn't buffer that by accident with the pause, that would have worked. But that's usually like my general visual cue with my human reaction time. That would be about where it needs to be. You also develop a feel for that. I will tell you, that is not going to be the easiest thing to do in the world at first. But with some practice, it will be fine. Now, for some advanced strats, what you can do is you can do a jump over, you can save some ammo here. So, we're still going to kill this first vulture. Sorry. Ah! Okay, we're going to kill the first vulture. And then we're going to walk as much as we can here. And there you go, just like that. I wasn't supposed to do that extra jump, but that's something that you can do to save 1 ammo. If you don't care about using the ammo there, you can just do this right here. You can instead just shoot the cat. Very easy. So, coming up, we have a clip that is going to be quite interesting. It's frame perfect, also subpixel perfect. There's no way to really manipulate the subpixels. It's a 50-50 chance of working. That's the best way. So here we are. Okay, let me make a save state here. So once again, you can jump very late here. And that's the hard strat. It's quite precise. I would only recommend going for this if you are going for world record. It's quite hard. You do not have many frames to make this jump. You can even try to jump like around 2nd and 3rd frame after landing as well to increase your chances of making this. However, I would recommend for most people just killing the cat. If you save this ammo, you can save 0.4 seconds later in Saffron, the 4th level in the game, because you'll have extra ammo. So only go for this, like I said, if you're going for world record. So, now, I'm going to try to show off... Sorry, wrong strat. Let me go and not get hit here. Okay. So, right here, we can use this little... Where Dorothy's standing. Do you see how there's like a crack to the left and the right of her? We can actually jump somewhere around here. And if we look at the platform that I'm like standing on right here, we're on a corner. If we like hit that corner at just the right spot, we can clip straight through. That was almost it. I might not be on a good subpixel here. Yeah, I might not be. But you just gotta trust me, it is possible to clip through here. There you go. So that was the pixel. It's very hard to get that turn to kick the cat. What you want to do to kick him is you completely release your finger from the D-pad, because if you like get like a 2nd frame, if you like go to the right button or the opposite direction from where you're pressing forward, Dorothy may not change direction fast enough. So you need to make sure that you completely release the button so that Dorothy goes neutral and then turns. So, boom, boom, and boom. just like that. Thankfully, you don't really have to worry about that too often because, I mean, in all honesty, you're not going to be making that sub-pixel perfect jump too often. We don't currently have, like, a way of really, like, setting up the sub-pixel or anything. It's just... And that's definitely not a strat that you could really reliably go. Okay, so here, there's two variants. You can kill the cat, and then basically just mash to the end of the level. Very, very easy. The bad thing is you get pushed back. You get pushed back by the clouds. And yes, I do apologize for not being able to get the sub-pixel perfect trick, but I think that's simply what it is. It's simply the sub-pixel didn't align for me there. So you can do that first strat very easy, or do you see where I'm standing right now on top of this little, like, shiny spot of the rock? It's, let's see. Do you see my cursor? Let's see. You do not see my cursor. Okay. So, just where I'm standing right now, there's like a little shiny spot. If you jump right around here, then you can make a, you can do an ammo skip. Just like that. For that first jump, I recommend that you press jump and right around the same time. You do not want to mash there. Same for that jump. Because with this one, we have to be very careful. We can either land here or we can land here. Either... If you just jump, you get the same result. You land on this rock. On that rock, you just need to jump as late as you can, and you're good. There's another line that can potentially happen, where you're jumping, and you fall just like that. If this happens, you won't be able to make it on top of the rock, where that Dorothy's near right now, the little small one. So we have to wait here, and then we just jump twice there. Those are the two different lines that you're going to run into. You just have to be very careful to make sure that you react to everything properly. Okay, so now we are on Maize Meadow. This is one of the most complicated levels in the game. So there's been a little bit of a change in the strat lately here. So one thing I forgot to mention with ammo is we can shoot up, we can shoot neutral, and we can shoot down. That's something I did not know for the longest time in this game. What we want to do is we want to jump 3 times at the beginning of the stage, and then on the third jump, we are going to shoot down at the corn. So, just like that. And then here, you want to basically jump around this spot right here, maybe a little bit earlier, so that you grab the health pretty early, and you can make it through the crow without getting hit. Usually, if you make it through the crow without getting hit, you're fine. Let's see. There you go. So that is the goal. That was extremely good there. That was pretty much a textbook performance of that little trick. But if you make that trick, thankfully, it also, like, manipulates the RNG for the level, so you won't have any problems with rats later on. So if you get hit there, there is a backup, do not worry. You just have to know all the places where you can skip on the damage boost. So this is the first one here. You do not have to take damage here. So you could just walk under that crow. Here I'd like to show the most normal rat pattern. Here's another spot where you can avoid taking damage. Or you can just do that. And then that's the pattern we want. We want that rat to go to the left, but it is possible for him to go to the right. If you play optimally, you'll always get the same RNG every time. Then right here, we don't want to do that ammo shot because ammo is very important. Lost ammo is lost time in this game, especially in the early game. But that is a backup strat there. And then at the end, you can actually get killed by that crow. As long as you make it to the right side of the screen, you still survive. So that is all of the alternate strats. Now I'd like to show you an optimal playthrough of the level. So if I get hit right there, what that means is I'm going too early. So let me go a little later. Oh, I'm still getting hit. There we go. So now I'm going to have a pattern where the rat's going to stay similar to where he is, and I'm going to jump at a certain angle that's going to allow me to get through the rat and the pumpkin. I will say it's an earlier jump than you'd expect. So here we go. Just like that. You have to walk a little bit there to avoid getting hit on the ground. I like to jump here, then we walk. And unfortunately, I had bad luck from the mouse there. Not exactly sure why. That's not very normal for that to happen. But thankfully, we know how to recover. You would want to kill that sunflower with your ammo. But this is definitely one of the harder stages in the run, so don't get too discouraged if you're struggling on it. Here we go. There you go. So that's exactly what you want it to look like. And then if you have the 2 health here, you can just walk straight to the end. So the most important thing to know is just all the spots that you can avoid taking damage on. Our goal is always going to be to make it to the end with 1 health remaining, so that we can damage boost as much as possible and save time doing that. So with this boss fight, there are 3 patterns you can get. This is the second fastest. The fight's very simple. You just hit him 6 times and you win. If you want to make sure, here, we're going to buffer an input so that we jump to the right as soon as possible. Then we walk so that we can react to what he does. He can start on the top. And if he starts on the top, that's one of the best things he can do. From there, if he's on the top, you just walk up to him. As soon as his head is upright like that, that's how you know that he's vulnerable and he can take damage. When he's on the top, as soon as that explosion goes away, you can shoot another shot and he'll always take damage. It's risky to make your shots go really fast on the bottom because he can potentially just like eat up your shot and cancel out your damage by going into an attack animation. So you have to be careful not to go too fast on the bottom. So here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I always hold right after each shot, and I just put a little bit more space between them on the bottom. If you hear a call at the beginning, you're just gonna want to do an upshot at him as soon as you can, and then just finish him up from there. You're just gonna like jump after you hear the call and then shoot an upshot, and he should not move from there. He's just gonna stand still, and then you lose about a second when that happens. Otherwise, you just wait and you react to whatever pattern he gives you. But the optimal one is a quick jump at the top where he's vulnerable as soon as you get up to him. And that is the crow fight. Pretty simple. Unfortunately, it is some RNG that can cost you anywhere between like 1 to 2 seconds. So, with Saffron, I'm going to show you the new strat now. So I'm just going to show this off. Just like that. And we would actually use a shoe charge there instead of jumping. So that is the potential time save. Now I'm going to show the original strat. The original strat, we just take damage there from that corn. And this takes 2 less ammo doing it this way. And then we would just jump to the side like that. So that is the difference there. Like I said, it's about a 0.4 second time save. So now that I've just shown all the 2 reasons and the reason why there's been such a split in Gamboge with the ammo route, I'm going to explain the level normally. So basically in Gamboge, you can save 2 ammo by doing 2 pretty difficult tricks, and then you can spend the ammo here, or you can actually just try to save as much ammo as you can in Gamboge to make sure that you have ammo for the train. So when you start this level, you're either going to just jump straight into the corn, or you're going to hold YB and right so that you immediately kill the corn as fast as possible. And then you're just going to mash or time your jumps, whatever you prefer. And that's another thing I would recommend. As soon as you get the game, just practice jumping as soon as you can. Because there are going to be some levels later in the game where you need to have extreme accuracy in your jumps. That you're going to have to get used to jumping as soon, as close to first frame as possible. So, we mash. And then here, we're going to just jump as late as we can. Make sure that you get over that pumpkin. And then you're mashing again, and you win. So here you're going to pick your strat. You're either going to do this, if you have the ammo. Or you could just do this. Like that. And one thing I'm thinking about is actually, if you do this strat, it could probably even save more time because we can probably even skip landing on the platform here. Let's see. Yeah. So that's another thing to keep in mind is you could actually even go for a faster variant of not even landing on that platform at all. That'll save you like 0.1 or 0.2 seconds. It's a lot less precise if you do that skip at the beginning. So yeah, the optimal Saffron strat can save you like 0.5 or 0.6, but it's really risky. So I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about the normal strat here. So right here, this upcoming shot, we get hit by ammo because the ammo does 1 damage to us and gives us invincibility frames after we get hit, compared to this wheel or cog that does 2 damage. So the way I do this is I just think VY, 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 VY. That is the timing. So just very shortly after you jump, you just press the button. One of the only ways you can really fail this is well, if you're too late, obviously it's not going to work. If you press both at the same time, look what happens. Yeah, I took the extra damage there. So you just gotta make it just after you press the jump button, you follow it up with an ammo shot. Just like that. And then you want to just land on this platform, hold right, and if you go fast enough, you won't get hit. So let me do this in normal motion here without any pauses. BY. There you go. And the farther right of that platform that you land, the better. Just make sure you don't accidentally land on that wheel at the bottom. So that's that room. Now, there are some variants here. I'm just going to go ahead and just machine gun you all and show you all the different strats. So this is the optimal strat. That pumpkin jump, I'm glad I got it on video right there. It's very inconsistent. I would not rely on making it. But it doesn't matter whether or not you make it. If you get hit in midair, you lose 1 frame. But, it's not a reliable thing to do there. The best thing is that you would have enough health to always make the end fast if you don't get hit by that pumpkin. So that's one strat that you can do. Another strat is this. Oops, sorry, I messed that up. So it's similar to that. It's hard to sneak in that extra jump. Normally, I wouldn't go for it with this strat. I would just do this. Just like that. You can sneak it in. It's just very hard. But that's a way of preventing 1 extra damage. There you go. So that's how you can sneak it in. You just have to do a little bit of an extra wiggle. You can also do the following. And that is a fantastic way of doing it because you barely take any damage at all there. However, you don't get to take many jumps. The goal is to take 4 jumps here. And that's the strat that I showed you there that used 2 ammo. It's bad because, you use 2 ammo and you only do 2 jumps. But the optimal way of doing it is right here. Just like that. And you also want to make sure you walk just a bit after landing the leaf so that you don't get hit by the crows. Thankfully, the crows have a very small hitbox, so you're pretty good there. Dorothy's hitbox is always just a square. I think most all hitboxes in this game are just like a little square. So thankfully, the crows, you can go through them visually and you won't get hit. I think this room's pretty self-explanatory. There is no secret to avoiding that mouse. You just want to hope for good luck. Shoe charge. Now, right here, there are a couple of different routes. What I'm going to show you right now is the optimal route if you have 3 health at this section. You can do that. There's also another thing you can do here, which is very risky. You can go for an extra jump there. I would not recommend doing this. You can do that. That's very risky. If you have 2 health, here's what you can do. Oops. Actually, it's a shoe charge. So this is a 2 health strat. You just fall here, and then you jump to the end. If you have 1 health, after getting hit by that sunflower, this is... Oops, sorry. This is what you would do. Just like that. And that will cover literally any case you get. Also, make sure you do not buffer your jump here. It is possible for subpixels to hate you, and you just clip straight through the fence. I don't really understand how it works. I've just seen it happen in the past, and I don't want it to happen to you all, so just make sure you walk a tiny bit before jumping there. So yeah, that is Saffron Fields. Another kind of complicated level just because there are some variants in the route. Now, for Xanthin. The big thing you gotta know is this visual cue. This is one of the most important visual cues in the entire game. So, do you see this leaf right here? How there's a little line that goes to the left diagonally, like... I'm pretty sure I'm mirrored. Let me see. Yes, so... Let's see. I'm going that way, so if I go... There we go. It goes like this, in this direction. Just like that. So, I'm standing right on top of it now. This is our visual cue. You're going to want to jump when Dorothy is just a little left of being centered on it. So I'm centered on it right now. So if I jump to the right... Well, it looks different when you're actually moving, I promise you. If you jump just around this line, then you land pretty early on the leaf. It's just important to just, like, take this line and then work with it as you will. Some of us are going to have differences in latency, so my visual cues are always going to be a little bit different from you all. I would use this line as your basis for a visual cue. It's just very important that you develop a visual cue for this jump because this beginning is pretty tight. So, once you make this jump, you can just mash. And that's one thing I have not mentioned yet. It is possible to land on like the farthest right pixel of a platform and not be able to jump even if you jump first frame. Because you'll notice, when Dorothy jumps... right there, I actually got a frame perfect pause. Dorothy ducks right before she jumps, and then she jumps, just like that. That's 3 times in a row I got that frame perfect pause. That's pretty cool. So basically, because there's some time before the animation begins. So if you're too far right, even if you jump on the correct frame, you will still basically get your input eaten. Very sad. So, best thing I can tell you is just develop a visual cue practice. Here, you're going to have to wait just a tiny little bit before moving so that you can land on that platform. And then, as soon as you land on that platform, the level's kind of just defeated. So here we go. Walk to the end, wait a tiny bit. And then you're going to land on this platform. Very easy stuff. And then you just have to develop your intuition for how much you have to walk here. I typically go for strats where I never have to wait anymore on that platform. We want to try to optimize our shoe charge go as long as possible so that you can actually beat that bird to the end of the level. If you're fast enough, it's just a matter of needing to really work on your movement. It's also difficult to have good movement when I'm pausing a lot. But yeah, that's Xanthin Fields. It's one of the trickier stages for beginners, I'd say. The best thing I can say, if there's anything you're having problems with in this game, develop a visual cue. That is the #1 thing I can tell beginners for this game. A simple visual cue goes a long way. So there, we wiggle at the very end of our first jump. If you just buffer your input and jump to the right immediately and hold right, you get hit. So you want to make sure you buffer a little. Excuse me, wiggle a little bit. Right here, this is complete luck. Just follow the path I use and hope for the best. That's actually a pretty bad pattern there. Oh well. But here you can buffer the input. Just hold being right. Walk a little bit. And then the rest of this level is very fun. We just hold the right button and we mash. There's one jump you want to look out for though. Right here, you want to make sure that you don't fall there. Other than that, you just hold the right button and you win. Besides the RNG minigame, this is the easiest level in the game. Except for this one. This one's even easier. Citron City. I don't think there's only one thing I need to say about this level. I guess two things. First off, you want to decide if you're going to mash or you're going to time your inputs. I mash just because I feel like that's going to be more consistent and I don't have to worry about being early. But on this level, I like to do a buffer jump right here. Buffer jump, 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 jump. And then I do a buffer jump where I press jump and then I press right and then left. Oopsies. Sorry. Just like that. I guess you could technically, let's see. No, you don't even have to buffer jump. If you do a standard jump, that's actually even better. You can just do a standard jump there and then grab that ammo. It's very important that you grab that ammo. It's possible to still grab the ammo at the very end if you're far enough right on that platform if you miss, so there is a backup. However, I would recommend just grabbing it on the way up. Very easy. Okay, borders. So, the best thing I can tell you is practice. At the beginning here, you're going to just, if you buffer your input, you're going to land on like one of the farthest right pixels here. And then you want to just press B and right at the same frame. Very easy stuff. And then, I recommend for border jumps, when you're first starting to learn, you're going to look at Dorothy's feet. When Dorothy's foot goes flat, that's about where you want to jump. So, there's this part of the animation. And then, did you see how her foot was flat there for a little bit? So right about here, this is about where you would want to jump. So, yeah, right there. That's exactly what I'm sorry it took me so long to find that, but that is what you want to look for. Is that back foot going flat. If you look for that visual cue, then you'll always make these jumps. Okay, now I'm so disoriented because of all of these speed changes. But yeah, that's the visual key you want to look for. Is that foot going flat? Very easy stuff. You have a couple frames to make those jumps, don't worry. It takes practice. It takes a lot of practice, that's for sure. So, here, these jumps at the beginning are the same as border jumps, basically. They have the same feel to them. Here you want to make sure you're as far right as possible. And if you get hit by those teeth there, you know you're doing pretty well. You're far enough to the right and you've gone fast enough. Now this jump is very, very difficult. The way I think about it is I just kind of memorize, you know, where I feel Dorothy is going to land based off of, you know, where I release the button. I typically aim for being just a little left of centered on this platform. Right about there. Yeah, that was exactly where I wanted to land. So that worked out great for me. I forgot to mention there are also variants in shoe charge routes. Just do what I do. It's the best way of doing it. You have to do a few extra border jumps, but it really helps to have this shoe charge for the end of the stage, because it's very annoying when you lose time for landing on that log that I just landed on there. However, if we have the shoe charge, it doesn't matter, because you can just use the shoe charge and you win. So, if you are too early, like, oh no, well, I accidentally grabbed the ticket. If you're early, you can just land on this log, do that, and shoe charge. You lose 2 seconds, but you get to continue your run. So that's the backup for that. This is just a level that all I can tell you is practice. That's all there is to it. It's going to be hard at first, but I promise you there will come a time where it all of a sudden feels a lot easier. Also, I will warn you, the death barrier is very high in that stage, so make sure you're on a platform before trying to jump to the end. So, right here on Poppy Fields. This is another level where all you really need to know is just follow what I do. You want to make sure you grab that shoe charge fast enough so that you don't get hit by the bee. Shoe charge there. We mash. Now, this jump here, you want to make sure you walk a little bit. And then maybe do a little bit of a wiggle on that second leaf to make sure you don't fall. Then we jump early enough. Let's see. Let me go back and... Oh, I can't really show you my visual cue unless I go on a different pedal now. Let me get up here and show you one. Okay. So, the cue that I use, you see the center of the pedal and the left side? I jump right in between there. So, where I just jumped right there is my visual cue. So, they all fall. So, I don't think this one falls. Here we go. So, like, right about here on the flower, between, like, the center, like, near this, there's, like, the stem, and then there's, like, the center of the flower, and there's the left side. I stand right here in the middle of the two, and that's my cue for jumping. Here, I do a wiggle. I do another wiggle, and guess what I do next? Another wiggle. Then you mash, jump, and right for a little bit. You walk off. You're late on this jump. You mash. You mash. You mash. You jump. Then you're late on that one, and then you mash to the end. It's going to be tough the first time that you're learning that, because you have to memorize things. But I promise you, it's quite the easy stage once you've figured it all out. So here, we use a shoe charge, and then we release when we're on around the center of this platform. Maybe a little bit later. Yeah, a little bit later than the center of that platform. Right about there. Here, I recommend being to the left side of the, you can try and, like, move to the right one time. So, like, go to, like, the apex of your jump and then move a little bit to the right. If you do not go into a position that you know will work, don't try to move from the apex of your jump a second time. I only ever recommend wiggling once to get into position. And then at the very end, do all of your adjustments as a walk up to the door frame. That's the best thing I can tell you for that jump. It doesn't really save that much time, so it's not a big deal, so watch. Move once from the apex. Ooh. And then you do final corrections at the end. So here we are. Move once from the apex. And then do a little correction. That's the best thing that you can do for that. Here we have a visual cue. It's right about this beam. Just like that. And then, I mean, there's not much else to say here. Actually, there is one thing explained here. So you can make this jump right here, where you go in between the two platforms, and then you walk down. And then you can get extra ammo pretty fast. You only lose like 0.2 or 0.3 seconds. That way, this is the best way to get ammo if you're low on ammo. If you'd like a bit more of a safer strat where you're not risking making that jump that I did before, you can also just go like this and grab it. I would not recommend doing that though. The normal strat is just to jump up here and only grab half of the ammo. You lose about a second if you do a turnaround. So it's just whatever you'd like, and that's a part where you're gonna have to adapt. You want to make sure you have at least like 10 or 11 ammo for the train. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the manipulation that I do. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back into the map so I can make a better save state so I don't waste everyone's time in this first jump. So the way that this jump, I just hold right, and then as soon as like I feel that I have movement, I jump. As long as you don't get first frame, you're good. You can develop a pretty easy feel for that. And then the movement that I do here is pretty intuitive. All of the jumps that I've done so far, as long as you make a jump and you don't land on like a lower section by accident, you're good. So this is all very intuition based. Here I jump right around here. You see the branch, that's my visual cue. So I just jump a bit to the left of that, I match. And then I'm going to jump when I'm about perpendicular with the left side of the tree trunk. So right about here is where I'm going to jump for this next one. And this is all for RNG manipulation, which I'll explain in just a moment. So we jump right about there, and we match. We're still mashing. We're still mashing. We're mashing, and then we walk. And then that little leaf right here, this is my visual cue. I jump right, just to the right of this leaf. So let's do this once more. Perpendicular. And we're mashing. Very fun times. Mash. And then we walk to this leaf, grab our ticket, we mash. We walk just a little bit, 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 and then you mash and you win. Okay, so now we're at the train. So, the train can do one of three things here at the beginning of the fight. He can be off screen, which really stinks. However, there's still a pattern that's pretty good if he starts off screen. He can be on the right side of the screen, to which you'll always be able to get a first hit on him. After your first hit, he can either jump or he can not jump. There are good patterns either way. You can do the same exact movement here, regardless of what pattern you get though. So I just try to manipulate it so that if I get the pattern where he's on the right side of the screen, I feel pretty confident that if my execution is good, I can always get a good fight. So I'm just going to talk about this fight almost as if the randomness did not exist. So here we go. You want to jump twice, shoot near the end. Thankfully, I did get a pattern where he was on screen. So this one right here, he did not jump. If you'd like to, with this pattern, you could do something like this, where you take an extra hit. However, I would not recommend doing that. I would instead recommend just waiting and then doing that. That is the best way to deal with this pattern, is by just avoiding this. Plus, health is very valuable with Dorothy. Our goal is going to be not switching at all. So, yo, just do that. Just do that right there. That is, that's my tutorial on the train. Just do exactly that. Easy peasy, right? So, I'm gonna go more in depth. Don't worry. So, yes, you want to make sure that you are pretty conservative with your health, because we want to avoid switching to Scarecrow. That is the ultimate goal in the train fight, is to avoid switching to Scarecrow. You want to be pretty conservative with the timing on your ammo shots, because if you're too early, the game is incredibly punishing. If you miss one shot, you can lose anywhere between 1 to 5 seconds for missing a single shot. With a lot of these patterns with this RNG manipulation, if you mess it up, he can do a triple jump near the end of the fight. And there are basically 3 different places you can kill him. You can get the optimal kill, like I just showed you right there, where he doesn't jump at all. You can get a secondary kill where he jumps 1 time to the right, and then you shoot 2 shots and he's dead. Or you can get a tertiary kill where he jumps You shoot your shot, and then he still has like 1 health remaining, and then he jumps 3 times. Those are the 3 different kills you can have. Not very fun. So, when you're fighting him, for my first shot, I like to think of it right when I begin to fall here for the second time. That's when I want to jump. So we've established you wait till you fall, you avoid that, and then when I'm doing this, I like to make sure that I'm on the ground for just a bit before I jump, and then I like to shoot just a bit after my jump input. So I like getting hit there on the ground. Sorry, messed that up. This is a hard fight, like I said. It's definitely not easy. So I keep getting out of position at the beginning of the fight. I'm not doing a very good job dodging this. There we go. You want to make sure that you're always staying near the front side of him, the side closest to Dorothy, so that you can be in a great position when things start dropping from him. You see there, the reason that he didn't get that extra jump in was because I did what's called a jump cancel, which is why it's important to go more towards the later side of hitting him. Because like I said, you do not ever want to be in a position where you shoot too early and your shot goes through him. You will lose time that way. So we dodge this. And then this is the secondary kill. Oh, I missed a shot. So that was basically your secondary kill there. I'm sorry for missing so many shots. So sometimes you'll get that 1 jump there, and then things are fine after that. You'll also have sometimes you'll have patterns where he is very kind to you and just doesn't jump much, like he did there. If you have the pattern where he jumps immediately, what you're gonna do is you're gonna dodge this, and then you're just gonna wait until he lands. So there, notice I was early on a shot, so now he punishes me. And I'm actually getting lucky that I'm not getting the triple jump, but normally you do get the triple jump. Right there, I even tried a little bit of a wiggle, which is probably a bit more of a consistent strat. There you go. There's all the extra jumps. But the best thing I can tell you, the rules of thumb for this fight, because it's impossible for me to explain absolutely every little detail of this. And as you can tell, I'm not the best at this fight. This fight's very hard. Because, I mean, those jump cancels, there's a good chance that they are frame perfect. The rules of thumb are try to stay as Dorothy for the entire fight. And get used to being in the sweet spot where you're not too far to the left side of the screen, to the point where you're risking your ammo going through the train, and you're not too far to the right where your ammo shots are going to hit his debris from when you hit him. After you get the first couple of hits, the fight is basically over. It's just a matter of getting a good opening. It's not an easy fight. This is the hardest part of the entire game, without a doubt. This fight is the hardest part. Thankfully, we don't really expect optimization. Unfortunately, my PB has a fantastic train that's very difficult to compete with. So for this jump, you can use one of 2 visual cues. There's this little spot on the ground where we would want to jump just a little bit after it. It's like a yellowish spot that I'm centered on right now. You could jump a little bit after that, or you could just relate it to like Dorothy's feet being close to the edge of this platform. So you want to just jump, mash jump after that. Then you want to land on this platform right here. As soon as you land, you want to just time a shoot charge. So I missed it there. If you miss it, I'll show you the backup strat. So I'm just going to wiggle so I don't make it. The backup strat is this. It's very easy. This strat loses about a half a second, but couldn't be any easier. So that didn't quite go as I expected, but as you can tell, it's so easy that like even if you make a mistake, it still works. I'm just not used to doing that strat because I always go for the hard strat. So this time, oh no, I messed up. So I wiggle so I can make it onto the branch. I shoe charge. And you can do that as well if you're running low on health. So that's one variant. Now I'm going to show another variant that you can do. So I would have made that, but I wiggle so that I can show off the different routes. So this time, instead of getting that brick, I'm going to skip it by doing this. And this is actually probably a little easier. Just like that. And then you win. Everything's going to be the same from there. So now, if you do the hard strat, we time our shoe charge. We shoe charge once more. And you're usually going to take an extra damage. I just got lucky. Let me actually show off what it looks like when you take the extra damage. Yeah. We're going to jump near the edge of this platform, which is pretty important. Now be careful though, there is a frame that if you jump too late, you won't grab the ammo. Here we want to walk a little bit, you want to make sure you get hit in midair from the teeth there. And make sure you hold right until that vulture is completely past you. That vulture has a pretty big hitbox, so you have to be very careful. But usually if you get hit by the teeth in midair, that last set, you're good. So, that's Scarlet Marsh. It's kind of a tricky level, but once you practice it a good amount, it's not terrible. And then we just shoe charge. That's all. Pretty simple. Okay. Now, West Fork. There are some visual cues that you have to learn for this level. First one, very simple. Right here. See this crack? You jump on it. And that's how you get a pretty optimized jump there. I'll do this once again in normal motion. There's the visual cue. And there you go. Here, we just walk a tiny little bit and then we jump. Here, our visual cue is like right around like this corner, right there, something like that. And then we have another crack right here. This one, you do want to go a little bit later. If you jump dead center, you'll miss it. Just like that. So we want to go just a little bit past it. And then you just mash, jump, and right. So there we go. Oops, sorry. So also, I forgot to mention, this is, if you're low on ammo, you can certainly skip shooting at that guy. Optimally, you want to just land completely past the corner. It's very hard to do, though. And then for this last jump, right about here, is where you want to jump. Best thing I can tell you for this level is practice. Or you could simply go off of your intuition. You don't need to make these jumps as tight as I do. But it's a pretty easy level. This next level, never use ammo on this first scorpion. There's just no need for it. We have to wait for the cycle anyways, so you might as well just do what I did there. Then we use the shoe charge here, and you want to try to land as early as you can. You want to like have a balance between going far enough right so that you don't have to walk extra, and being far enough left that, you know, you don't have to move extra to get onto the platform. So it's just a matter of needing to optimize movement. Here you have plenty of time to make sure that you're gonna line up. Now, if you get hit by the scorpion, it means that you went too slow. If you went too slow, it most likely happened in this section right there where I was setting up. So that's what it looks like if you do that correctly. Just make sure you practice the jump right after the shoe charge. Here you'll always be in good position there. If you make that jump extremely early, you're going to want to wait just a tiny bit on this platform, but in this case, I know I can just go right away. and then we grab the shoe charge at the end. It's a pretty easy level. Just a little bit of practice, as always, goes a long way. So, I've already explained borders earlier. Oopsies. So, I'm going to go ahead and just zoom right on through this stage. Don't get discouraged with your borders. They are not going to be easy at first, but they will eventually become pretty trivial after a while. Eventually, you'll get to a point where it's much more rare for you to miss a border jump. Okay. Zaffer Forest. So, there's a way to make this section very, very consistent. We can actually take 1 damage by jumping, and then when that vulture moves back, we can shoot ammo up to avoid taking damage there. I don't really recommend doing this ammo shot. I don't think it's too necessary. Sometimes this bird right here doesn't hit you. I wish I could explain why. It just seems completely random to me. Right before you land, both times there, you're just going to shoot up shots, and then you win. So, if you press up as soon as you grab this key, as you can tell, I'm not far enough over. So, it's just a little bit after you grab the key that you need, that you can press up and enter the house. So, right there, as you saw, I didn't get hit by the bird, but then I had bad luck with the mouse. Best part about this entire run is that we get to see the scarecrow walking animation here. Make sure, right here, that you walk a little bit before jumping so that you don't get hit on the ground. So you're actually going to be visually inside of the chair before getting hit. Pattern here is right, 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 left, left, right, right. The same visual cue things apply from earlier. It's simply... Oh, we can use ammo there. I'm sorry, I missed that. So, what's going to happen is you get hit, and then as soon as the hit animation is done, you're just going to do a turnaround, hit B and Y at the same time. Very easy. But the same rules apply. Center of doorknob, and just a little bit past the right side. Oopsies. So let me, I forgot where I was in the pattern. So, here we go. So right, 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 left, left, right, right. Left. Here. Yeah. So, you can just hold left for a while until you decide to jump there. It's not precise at all. Not too much to worry about. Then here, make sure you hold A so that you don't get hit. And I like to switch after getting the ticket. Here, there's a very easy visual cue. It's right here. See this little shiny brick? The second shiny brick is where you jump. And that'll pretty much guarantee that you only take 1 damage. You'll either take 1 or 0. You just gotta hope that you don't get hit on the ground. That's the big thing. We do 4 shoe charges here. And then you press jump a couple times. Here you'll either take 1 or 2 damage. It doesn't really matter. And then we want to jump, bait that one out, and then you win. Most of the time that bird won't get in your way. If he does, then you just have to improvise. It's a pretty easy ending. Just jump through the first vulture and then bait the second one out. If the vulture does not move, it's okay. As long as you go far enough to the right, he will not jump at you when you bait the second one. This is probably the most one of the most self-explanatory levels in the game. I don't think there's much I need to tell you. Yeah, it's very simple. Here, I like to jump over that platform and then just mash jump It's the best way of doing it. It prevents me from being at risk of falling from any platforms and losing a little bit of time. Okay. So, here, we jump immediately. And then I like to use this platform to my right as a cue for where I need to fall. If my Dorothy is aligned with the left side, then I'm good. There you go. But yeah, just make sure you get both bricks and the ticket there. You need to have 12 bricks here. If you do not have 12 bricks for whatever reason, there are some bricks that you can grab at the end of this level that are very easy. Here we jump, walk a tiny bit, and then mash jump. I was actually supposed to hit that faucet there. I'll go back and show you once more. There you go. That's what we want. And unfortunately, I got hit by the frog. But if you're good, you will not get hit by him. Here, when you grab the ticket, you do a left-right. Oopsies, I missed. But yeah, when you get the ticket, you do a little left-right. And then you win. Here, you can actually just buffer the input for your jump. And then right there, those are the bricks that you could grab if you are low on bricks. Make sure that you have 12. Okay, here is a spot in the game where you really got to practice your jump timings. Oops, I missed that last one there. So we want to have first frame jumps so that we jump here and we do not take damage on the steam there. It's very important that you don't get hit. That way you can always just you don't ever have to worry at the end. It's possible if you have to switch to Scarecrow a little bit earlier and you take 2 damage from the steam, you just have to make sure that you don't take damage from the fire later on. So there are ways to work around this level no matter what. But if you want to get RNG manipulation, you most certainly do not want to get hit by that steam right there. I like, on this stage, I like to bump Dorothy up against the edge a little bit here, just so that my, the fireball timing is buffered out a tiny bit. So that's why I do that. For this, we have a visual cue. It's right about here. Just a little bit past the crack is where you want to jump. And then I'm going to go back just so that I'm on the right cycle here. This level is not too bad. Okay, so right here we jump twice. 1 and 2. We walk a bit. We jump once. Get over him. And then you just do that turn whenever you can. Always after that, you want to switch. Now, here, there are some strats you can do. You can do this. Oopsies. So one strat, which I definitely do not recommend doing this, is you can jump at the very edge of this platform. And then do that. Don't go for that strat. It's definitely just not worth it. Plus, I just know how the RNG manip is going to be if I do this strat. So if you get hit there, it's perfectly okay. But notice that would have been a problem if we didn't make the Dorothy jump at the beginning over the steam. We would have 1 less health here, and then we're planning to take 2 damage here. So, if you took 1 damage at the beginning, just wait a tiny little bit before jumping so that you don't have to worry about getting hit by flames. And there you go. Now, if you're good on health, we can go for some RNG manip. What you want to do for the RNG manip is jump here, walk a little bit. It is very important that you get hit by the water droplet right there as you're jumping. If you do, it's very, very likely that you're going to get good RNG on the boss. I won't guarantee you that you will, but it's very likely. See? I got good RNG. The key to that, like I said before, is making sure that you get hit by that water droplet in midair. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and show off the new strats here that were just like found the other day for this level. And I'm going to show both variants. So, the first variant that we normally did was you just start with Dorothy in this level. But the new strat, we start with Tin Man, switches it to Lion. Regardless of what character you have, the beginning is always going to be the same. We use ammo at the beginning there to try to avoid getting hit on the ground. So let me show that again. So, Lion. Sorry. My visual cues are a little bit off because I'm not used to doing this with the Lion. As soon as I do this with Dorothy, it'll be back to normal for me. I do not really have practice with this level with the Lion. Okay, so here is where we would switch characters to the Dorothy. And then you're gonna wait a little bit here most of the time for the flying monkeys. Because I got hit at the bottom, my pattern was a little off. But the way that this works at the end is you do that. And then you would want to damage boost through both of those guys using ammo. You don't always have to boost through the second one, but I would not recommend this strat right here. All it saves is 3 ammo. So now I'm going to show the strat that any normal human would go for. It's a lot easier, and just playing as Dorothy is always a lot more simple. So here's the normal strat. Very easy stuff here. So that's a normal pattern right there where you can always avoid them. Okay. So I recommend jumping near the edge of this platform to avoid getting the double hit. Like that. Now, I'll go ahead and show you. That's basically the strat right there. If you have Dorothy. I'll just do this with Scarecrow real quick. So you'll have full health with Dorothy coming in. And there you go. So, boom. Just like that. That is how you would get through that section there with Dorothy. You have to use some extra ammo. You can even throw some safety ammo in there if you're afraid of getting hit or you take an extra bit of damage. So that's how you would do that with just one full health bar. It's pretty difficult. So now we're gonna go back to just normal strats. You don't have to do that triple switch there. I just like it because it looks cool. And then here, the only thing I can really tell you is do a buffer jump here to reach the second platform and practice. You are not going to jump immediately upon landing on that second hourglass. You're going to walk just a little bit to the left, and then you jump. It'll be a lot easier for me in normal motion. There you go. Honestly, Indigo Palace is going to seem very difficult at first, but I promise you, with practice, it gets easier. Okay, we're getting closer to the end of the run now. So this stage is kind of annoying. So the beginning is pretty self-explanatory. Now, when we get here, there are 2 ways you can do this. You can jump here, and then try to line yourself up as you jump. Or you can jump here, and then if you make the first jump, it automatically lines up the second. So I kind of just prefer this method. I feel like it's pretty easy. That jump is not that precise though, so you don't have too much to worry for. Here, you want to try, it works the exact same way that the jump in Cinnabar City works. You want to try to make like one little adjustment if you land too far to the left here. So let's say, oh no, I'm so far over. You can try to make one quick little adjustment near the apex of your jump where you press one right. Don't push your luck, though. That's the most important thing with this. Never push your luck. I highly recommend making all of your adjustments at the very end. Unless you already know that you're on a great pixel. So just like that. That's all I can really say is make all of your adjustments at the end. With this jump here, when you make the first one, you're going to do the same thing. That was perfect right there. You're going to make one adjustment. You're going to try to be in line with the edge of this platform. And then you just jump left and jump right if you're on the edge of that platform. I could have been a little bit further over, but that's the best thing I can tell you is just make one jump and then just play from ear there. If you are too far over, like, well, that's perfect. If you're too far over, you can try walking a bit farther left on the platform, but honestly, I do not recommend going for these jumps. It saves about a second or 0.8, something like that. It's very difficult, though. The normal strats are just land here, land, jump here, do this, do that, and do this. Only go for this strat if you're interested in world record. That is one of the hardest, most frustrating strats in the game. And then here, at the end, you're just gonna land here and win. Hooray. So yeah, I do not recommend the world record strat on at the end there. Just, if you're gonna go for it, make sure you practice it a good amount. Before I started going for that strat, in record runs, I did quite a few hours of practice on just that level. Okay. And borders are the same as always. If you're just tuning in now on this part of the tutorial, just go back to my yellow country and I explained that. Remember, we're just kind of either going with, you have a feel for it, or you are looking for the back foot to be flat with the ground. Okay. This level is very self-explanatory. Purple Country is pretty tame. I'd say the most, like, daunting world to learn in this game is Yellow Country. Because Yellow Country has, like, lots of levels that have, like, multiple variations to them that you have to learn. Purple Country is very, very simple. There's only one kind of tricky thing to it. Okay, so we got to jump here. Make sure that you land on the second mushroom. Now, on this jump... Well, first off, make sure you make it. Sorry about that. I was a little further over. On this jump, it's kind of one of those things where you just have to practice. As long as you jump, you pretty much grab the ticket every time. However, you want to make sure you grab all the bricks here. If you do not grab all the bricks, you're going to have to do an alternate strat later on because you'll have 12 bricks instead of 13 at the end, and the border will be impossible unless you have 13 or more bricks. Okay. So here, this is one of the most important stages to make sure that you have your jump timings down. You want to be able to jump as close to frame perfect as possible. So we switch to the lion. Hey, thank you so much for the congrats, Rocket. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, I'm currently doing an any % tutorial. Okay, so here, what we do is we want to jump as close to the first frame as possible on every jump. At the beginning, we just need to get a feel for how early we can make that first one. And you need to make sure you're far enough to the right here that you're not gonna be early on the jump and fall in the pit. Here, you definitely want to jump. It saves a couple frames, trust me. I've timed it. Here, we're going to jump to the left. Just a bit after we jump, we're going to do an up throw. And then when you see the toy soldier spawn, just like a couple frames after you're going to jump so that we make that as early as possible. You can get hit there, but it's possible to do that without getting hit. Jump near the end here. Oops, very sorry about that. Okay, let's do this again. So, throw just a little bit after. Wait for him to spawn, and then here I should not get hit. Oh, I still did. Never mind. Okay. Make sure that you are far enough left there so that you don't accidentally knock onto a platform. Same goes here. Make sure you do walk a tiny bit here so that you can grab both bricks. It's very important. If you're low on health, there is an ammo shot you can do here. Just like that. However, if you don't need the ammo, feel free to take the damage. We no longer need the line after this. So, I would only recommend doing what I'm about to do as a backup strat. If you're falling really far behind, you can jump here in order to save some time. And then that jump right there is pretty precise. I'm not gonna lie. At the very end, that jump is comparable to a border jump. You can even kind of think of it the same way, like if you do the jump strat, as you're going through the blocks, it's just a little bit longer than the normal timing for a brick jump. Now notice, if I do not jump here, look what happens. He catches up just a little bit more to me. I personally like doing the jumps because it puts me in a position where I'm more consistently know what the timing's going to be like for this block jump. So it's kind of just runner's preference there. I always go for the jumps because I've practiced it a lot and I'm pretty consistent. Here, you want to grab the ticket, then go to the right side of the platform, do a little wiggle so that you don't get hit. And then it's pretty simple. Make sure that you just figure out, like, I kind of just jump right around the corner of that block so that I can clip on through. And then we go to the Wicked Witch. Very self-explanatory stuff here. Make sure you're to the right here for this last one. And then jump up and wail on her. And that's the Wicked Witch of the West. Okay. Amethyst Mountains. This level's a little annoying for beginners. So, the beginning doesn't matter. We have to wait a little bit here for this platform, no matter what. You actually can make the cycle, but you have to wait at some point in the level no matter what, so it's always worth it just to wait here. If you don't wait, that's what happens. But if we do wait, we do that. It's about the same time, maybe a little bit more than you'd wait in Xanthin. And then here, you want to make sure that you do a buffer jump here. This is vital. If you do a buffer jump here, it makes the entire level line up perfectly. So here, just jump as soon as you can. Jump as soon as you can. Mash. Jump as soon as you can. And guess what we're doing? We're mashing. If you follow all that, this level is pretty easy. Really, this level, if you ever mess it up, it'll only be because of nerves. Or because you're practicing it and you mess it up once and then things just kind of snowball from there. I promise you, it's not a very hard level once you've practiced it enough. This level, do not worry about going extremely fast. Because no matter what, we have to wait for a cycle at the end of the level. So be very careful. Just take your time on that first jump to make sure that you're not going to accidentally fall off. And then there's a shoe charge up here. You can't really see it, but that's what I'm grabbing. Also, I never mentioned tickets. You need to grab every ticket in the entire game in order to make it to the last level of the Emerald City. If you miss a single ticket, you get booted out and you cannot go to the Emerald City. However, I would like to advocate for the which percent category if you're not a fan of grabbing tickets. We don't need a single one in the which percent category. So, back to the actual run here. We're just going to continue on like normal. Here, make sure you land on this branch, then jump down, land here, and now we got a little bit of a trick. I recommend going a little bit further than you think you need to, and then just doing a little correction, and then jumping down. That's the best way to do it. I'll do that once again. That all happened pretty fast. Walk a little extra, little correction, and we win. Yeah. So now we're just going to count clouds. We go to the 6th, and then we match. So this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, and then this is 6, so I can just match. There you go. Pretty easy level. The only problem is that jump right before the ticket. Just like I said, don't worry about going as fast as you can there. So here, pretty easy. Just make sure you're using your upshots. Okay. So this jump here, you want to be lined up with the left side of the platforms like this. Then you buffer, and then you just jump a little bit after. This jump, I don't know, man. Sometimes it just seems kind of inconsistent. Just hope for the best. And if you're on a really good pace, don't even worry too much about this jump. It's not worth losing a run over. I've done it like once or twice. So that's the beginning of that stage. It's actually pretty easy. This level is not that bad. As long as you have the ammo, this is what I'm talking about from before. Extra ammo is saved time. If you don't ever have to worry about your health, it's so much easier and so much less stress to go through this stage. Okay, here, make sure that you are mashing on any direction change. You need to do double taps before you start holding, because if you do a single tap, look how slowly Toto moves. But if I do double taps, look at that. He goes like immediately. The way that I do this is I use my index finger and my middle finger on my right hand. I move them over to the D-pad, and I use my middle finger for up and right and my index finger for left and down. And it's a very good way of mashing. I get lots of control with it. And that's how I do that minigame. It saves about 3 seconds or so if you do that method compared to just buffering things like we would any other Toto minigame. Okay, all I can say for the rest of the level is just follow what I do. It's pretty simple from here. We do a buffer jump, then we move just a little bit to charge near the edge of this platform. Jump near the edge there, jump near the edge here. And then guess what we're going to do here? Oh man, we're going to jump near the edge again. Make sure you walk a little bit, and then you can mash. Okay, right here, it's actually possible to kill the bat. What I use as a cue is I jump near the edge, and then right before I'm perpendicular with this platform, I shoot my shot. Just like that. If you would like to kill him. However, you really don't have to. You can also just jump right around the turtle's little left leg, and you can do that. If you get hit, it's perfectly fine. I'm surprised I'm actually so consistent. I thought that was a lot more precise. I think there's some RNG as to how the bats react. Now, here, if you have less than 13 bricks, you're going to use a shoe charge. You're going to grab all of these bricks so that you can complete the border. If you do this strat right here where you use the shoe charge, you have to do one less brick jump in the border. If you have 13 bricks, you're on great pace, you do not have to use a shoe charge at the end of this stage. Instead, I'll show you what you do. We just jump near the edge of that platform, and we go to the end. No shoe charge needed. So now, the final border. I would also recommend make sure you know in blue country and purple country where you're going to use the shoe charges. For blue country, it's very self-explanatory. Right before the big gap, you use a shoe charge. For this one, if you have 13 bricks like I do, you're going to use the shoe charge on the platform with the ticket. If you have the bricks because you had to use the extra shoe charge at the end because you had less than 13 bricks, you are going to shoe charge the platform before the ticket, and then you'll land on a brick right before the exit. So I'm going to go ahead and just play through this border now. So, right here, make sure you count. It is 1 jump, 2 jumps, 3 jumps, 4 jumps, and 5 jumps. It is possible to miss that ticket, so be very careful. But that is the final border. From here, if you've made it this far, congratulations. You're most likely going to finish your run and have a pretty great time. So, here on the Emerald City, I believe there's a way to, use your ammo. There you go. To allow you to jump through that platform. You just, you're gonna do an upshot, when you begin to fall after making your jump. If you boost through that one, you can do 2 other boosts if you have the ammo, but I typically only aim for, skipping 1, jump here. You can do that. Then this jump, there's a very easy visual cue right here, right when you're just past the center of this little thing in the back. When you're perpendicular with that, that's where you jump. Once again, I apologize. Some of my visual cues may not work for everyone, depending on how much latency you have. That's just what works for me on my HD TV. Notice there, I took 2 damage. It's only the yellow brick that is going to allow you to do those damage boosts. So that's why it's very important. Remember what I've said a million times throughout this entire tutorial, is having extra ammo is time saved. Here, there's a very easy visual cue. You're just going to jump right around here on the back part of this little line. Pretty easy stuff there. This is basically the last jump in the run. You're just going to make sure you're far enough back, and then most of the time, as long as you just land on this platform, you're good. This jump is pretty easy. So just focus only on landing on this platform. You could also use the door as a guide. If you land right around the middle of the door, then you'll land in a great spot. Then you shoe charge. Then you shoe charge. Oh, we're getting so close. If you have extra health here, you can jump twice. You can boost through this second fire here, which is a bit safer. If you still need to dispel your ammo so that you can save some time. You jump twice, you shoe charge. And then we're in the last room of the entire game, so I'll show the 2 variations. So this is the variation where you have the extra shoe charge. You're gonna go up here, land right about there, jump near the edge, do a shoe charge near the edge of that platform, and then you'll land right there. And then we grab our key, jump near the edge there, and congratulations, you beat the game. Now, if you do not have the shoe charge, you're gonna lose 2 seconds, and you're going to do the following. Oops, excuse me. You're going to jump right here at the edge of that platform. You do not have to worry about being too late. Unless you fall off the platform. You don't want that to happen. But there's no way you're going to hit the far candle or fire. Jump up here. And then same thing applies to this platform. There's no way you're ever going to be too late. And there you go. That is the entire tutorial for the Wizard of Oz any %. Using this route, you could technically go for a world record, but I will tell you, world record's pretty tight. It's a very difficult run to beat. But I hope this was helpful to any potential learners of the Wizard of Oz for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Timing will end right when you lose movement. So it's the frame after your HUD disappears. And timing begins when you gain movement at the beginning of the run. So I hope this was helpful to everyone, all you potential learners out there. Look how happy Dorothy is. And hopefully we can get some more runs on the leaderboard, because this is a very, very fun game to run. I would highly recommend it. As long as you can get past the stress of borders and a little bit of annoying RNG early in the game, then it'll be a lot of fun. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and leave you all and enjoy learning this fantastic game.